as you've gotten older, are there things that have become more important to you, and maybe some things that you focused on earlier in life that have just become less important, right? Like the flip side of it.
That's a great question. I mean, certainly time. Time is more important to me maybe than money. Uh, yeah, time, I would say. And things that, I mean, I wish. So I probably always wanted to be a rock and roll guitar player. And I finally have discovered that YouTube is the best teacher in the world for that. So spending time with music for me has become much more important, probably than ever before.
Next one, if and maybe it's your mentor, quite honestly, but I specifically didn't put this out there beforehand because I wanted it to be kind of top of mind. But if you hear the word successful, who's the first person that comes to mind?
The first person, wow, outside of my family and my parents, we just celebrated the 70th birthday of the minister in the church that I grew up in. 70th birthday, still a minister in the church where I grew up. I met him when I was 14 years old, and he's been like a brother and certainly a mentor in addition to this career mentor. And boy, is he successful. And he loves life and loves his family, and he's a success. Don Borling. Don Borling is his name.
Last two, real quick. I'll give you an example. Like for me, every morning I started doing this a couple of years ago, where first thing I do when I sit down is I kind of dump everything out of my head onto a journal. I should be sponsored by Moleskin. I have them all over the house. But it's like if I don't do it any given day, my day kind of feels off. Like there's too much jumble, I guess, going on. And do you have any rituals, any things you do daily? I mean, it sounds like music's an important part of your day, but that like if it doesn't happen, the day feels off.
Um, I never have, I do not have any unopened emails in my inbox. At the end of the day, everyone is open. It may be flagged to read again or to do something with or whatever, but every email is open when I go to bed.
You have to have it. No pop-ups on the phone or anything like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Last one, and it was something you mentioned earlier, so I was glad I had this on here. I like you, I'm a reader, and so again, personal, type, questions. I laugh because at our house we have a stack of books that's probably over knee high that we just keep hearing other people telling us about, and you're like, which one am I going to read next? We just keep buying them. But and you mentioned you read 15 books probably around 15 books last year. Is there a book over your life or recently that you've gifted to other people or that you recommend and just think everybody should read?
Well, the 7 habits of highly successful people, I mean, that's kind of maybe I don't practice always what I would preach or what certainly Stephen Covey preached. I actually got to meet Stephen Covey and got to visit with him about his book when I was in Congress. So that would be one I would certainly gift. And the other one that comes to mind, I'm forgetting the exact title, but it's 90 Days for Success. And it's a way to transition as a leader into a new operation. Those are two that I have gifted people because I think they're just outstanding ways to think, to organize your thoughts. Then you can go anywhere. You can use those principles, to run a car company, or you can run a credit union association, probably run a credit union, or just organize your home life. So those are probably the two that immediately come to mind. There's probably better ones, but those are the two that come to mind.
This is my favorite barroom question. You just talked about the Who and the Bruce Springsteen book and stuff like that. Greatest rock and roll album in your opinion, front to back. You don't skip a song. What is it?
Oh, for me, it's the Eagles, and it's the best of the Eagles. I mean, so if you were the other way they ask the question is, so if you're stranded on a desert island, what's the one album you would want to have with you? And I'm an Eagles fan from the very beginning. I love the acoustic. I play guitar. That's what I play acoustic. If I go to anything, it's more acoustic than electric. So I would say probably the Eagles. And I just saw them probably for the last time because they're getting a little bit into two. Okay. They just played with James Taylor here in Washington, and Karen and I went and had really nice seats. And Glenn Frey's son is now the lead for Glenn. Okay. Passed away, but I think they're just cashing checks now. I'm not sure they're doing what they used to do, in Jim's humble opinion. Hopefully Don Henley doesn't watch your podcast.
And then finally, again, thank you very much for taking the time and being the first
Sure.
on this. Do you have any final thoughts, any asks of the people that are listening before we sign off?
I would say probably, and I wish that John F. Kennedy hadn't have said this, because as soon as you say something like this, say, well, yeah, that you're not Kennedy and I'm not. But he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And the same is really true for associations, is that, if somebody thinks that you hired Jim Nussle or Ryan Donovan or whoever it might be, and you kind of hope they go do it for us, they just go do that job so that we don't have to. That's not how this works. That our association is only strong, is only effective if we do it together. And part of my job is to remind you of those cooperative superpowers, that associations are what we do together, not what you hire somebody to go do for you. And that's an important kind of first principle that I know credit unions understand, certainly if anyone does, but I think it's a healthy reminder.
Well, that's awesome. Great way to wrap it up. Thank you again, Jim. I greatly appreciate it. And we will see you in DC at GAC.
Sounds good. Thanks, Randy. Thank you very much.